We're back.
It's been a while. I know. This year's video output has been less than consistent, but that's fine. It's fine. What's important is you're watching a video by me right now, and more importantly, it's about my favorite intellectual property of all time, Peanuts. Yeah, so if you didn't hear, which I'm not sure why you would have, there's a new Peanuts video game this year, Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club. Naturally, I played it, and naturally, I have things to say about it. If you're not aware, a few years ago now, I made a video talking about basically every video game based on Charlie Brown and Snoopy I could get my grubby little hands on. It was a fun little retrospective, but I ultimately came to the conclusion that Peanuts as a brand doesn't work too well in the video game medium. There were sprinkles of decent ideas in some of the games, and maybe even a few I would call pretty okay video games. But at the end of the day, most of them didn't feel as if they were taking advantage of Peanuts as an IP. It was more just Snoopy slapped on some existing style of game, sometimes even just an already existing game. One major exception to this was Snoopy Concert on Super Famicom, which I gave quite a bit of praise in my video, and still sorta love to this day. It has a lot of charm, and it was one of the only games that felt like a true Peanuts video game. It was a pseudo-adventure game / platformer that used the Super Nintendo mouse for its control scheme. It was clever. One part that stood out to me was a section where you're Detective Snoopy going around town talking to all of the Peanuts characters in a point-and-click style adventure game kind of format. It was not very fun, but it was probably the most intriguing formula for a Peanuts game I had played. A more mundane, dialogue-focused adventure game worked well for the series. It worked with the strengths of Peanuts as a comic strip. And lo and behold, upon first glance, this new game kinda looked like a sort of modern rendition of that part in Snoopy Concert. And that got me kind of intrigued. I mean, I was gonna play it anyway. But I had a teeny bit of hope. Not much at all, don't get me wrong. We're talking like a micro crumb of hope. I mean, the game was published by Game Mill, which wasn't exactly the greatest indicator of quality. They're a big licensed game publishing studio that tend to publish the shovelwarest games of all time. And judging by the footage I was seeing, it didn't look like it was beating any of those allegations. But I'm not about to judge a game based on some janky, under-budgeted outer appearance. Who knows? Maybe it's Kino. Maybe it's the greatest game I'll ever play in my life. Maybe it's going to change my perspective on the medium forever and force me to reevaluate everything I know and understand about a video game and what it can achieve. Or maybe not. We'll see, I guess. Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club is a very oddly generic game. On some level, it's unique just based on virtue of what it is. It's a modern Peanuts adventure game, but I also think that's exactly why it has genuinely no identity at all. It feels like an amalgamation of every game you've ever played, and obviously there's an easy argument to be made that this is a game for kids, so obviously you shouldn't expect much from it. But that's the thing, many kids games, and I'm talking like little kids games, where the intended audience can barely read, are unique in their approach to video game literacy. You can't make a game that requires a 3-year-old to understand how a video game is supposed to be played. It's why a game like Putt-Putt Saves the Zoo works so well for that age range. All it is clicking big arrows and funny-looking characters. It doesn't require the player to understand any kind of pre-established video game knowledge. You can't really expect its intended audience to figure that stuff out before they lose interest and play with their blocks or whatever stupid little idiot children do with their free time. I have another example. When I was a teenager, my aunt bought a Nintendo DS because she had heard that there were some really good puzzle games for the system, and she was a huge fan of Brain Teasers and Sudoku and stuff like that. The EB Games guy recommended her Brain Age and Professor Layton. She loved Brain Age, but when it came to Layton, she ended up just giving it to me. I'll never forget her explaining that she didn't like it because she couldn't figure out how to play it. And to me, I'm like, what does that even mean? You just play it. It's a video game. You play it like any other video game. But this was literally the first time she had ever touched a video game. So to understand what a game expects you to do to proceed is a learned skill. Something that, for a lot of us, almost happens subconsciously at this point. We just know how it's all supposed to work. But to someone like my aunt, she would have had to figure that out. And she was a woman with a 9-to-5 job. She wanted a game that gave her puzzles. That's exactly what Brain Age was. It was a few menu clicks and you were spit out brain teasers like a vending machine. Perfect for the video game illiterate audience that the Nintendo DS and Wii were trying to tap into. And I'm not even saying that as a negative. That was a good thing about these systems. This is all to say, Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club is not a video game illiterate game. It is very much a video game, but feels like it's intended for the block-playing toddler-aged audience. It's weirdly conflicting in a way. And don't get me wrong, this is not a Snoopy Souls-like. It's aggressively simple and mindless. The game is basically just about Snoopy solving little mysteries for the Peanuts gang, which boils down to talk to NPC, they give you something, you are told to go somewhere to give that thing to said NPC, follow map marker to NPC, rinse and repeat for like 6 hours, give or take. And on a rare occasion, being told to beat a minigame to proceed as well. The game is probably 98% running from one end of the map to the other. The amount of times they made me run back to Franklin's house, oh my fucking god, man. Very, very rarely giving you any kind of obstacle to get there. Just follow the big dumb arrow on the map. Like, negative gameplay. It really sucks. Every once in a while, the game will throw some problem to be solved, like finding a hidden thing in a room or navigate a maze using Snoopy's many transformations. Oh yeah, Snoopy can kind of like change outfits and it gives him abilities. Pirate Snoopy can dig up hills, Landscaper Snoopy can use a leaf blower, and the main one, Detective Snoopy, can turn on what to do button that sort of shows you what you're supposed to interact with. Kind of like Batman Arkham Asylum. Ever played that game? There are a few others, but they're all context-sensitive actions. I don't even know why they needed this radial menu to switch to them. One is literally just obstacle disappears when you're in this costume. Again, kind of like negative gameplay. Just an extra button to press because, that's gameplay, that's interactivity. I love video games. And the mini-games are like extremely baby mode. They feel like they're made for the smallest of smallest children, with really, really simple timing minigames, or just like Simon Says, down to the classic sounding beeps and boops of an old Simon game thing. Oops. And this is where the disparity between what this game is trying to be versus what it is comes from for me. Like, did you notice what I was talking about before? Radial menus, waypoint markers on a map, context-sensitive interactions. These are all like video game-isms, right? Not things you would expect from baby's first gaming session. But the minigames and just how impossibly simple the moment-to-moment gameplay is just screams, this is for your baby. So that got me thinking, what is the intention of this game? Why is it like this? My theory is that this game is for your baby, but I think it expects the adult to be playing. Which honestly, when you think about it with that intention in mind, it all kind of makes sense. All that downtime of running back and forth is perfect for a kid's constantly teetering attention span. The mini games being so simple and forgiving are for a kid to call it out to their parents while they're playing, or yell to the parents to stop the bar for the timing mini games. This may just be me reaching for some kind of benefit of the doubt for this nothing gameplay, but I kind of like this headcanon. If this was intentional, I give them a lot of credit. If it wasn't intentional, I don't know. Like, the game just doesn't feel like it would be fun for a kid. Kids have stuff like Donkey Kong Bonanza on their Switch, but its video game concepts aren't intuitive enough for a first-time gamer baby. It feels too simple for a kid to enjoy, but too difficult for a baby to enjoy, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm just not giving baby gamers enough credit, but it just doesn't feel like it slots into any specific demographic, besides this weird niche case of a parent playing it with their kid, which should have been advertised in some way, because it would honestly be a perfect selling point. Enjoy the world of Snoopy and friends with your little Timmy. Honestly, that has me thinking too. Who the fuck is this game for? Would little Timmy even want to play a Peanuts game these days? Is Peanuts relevant, like, at all right now? I know there's been a Peanuts cartoon on Apple Plus or something, but generally, I feel like Peanuts is not in any kind of child zeitgeist right now. The Peanuts movie was over a decade ago and... Oh, fuck. That was a decade ago? Sorry. Anyways, I feel Peanuts hasn't been culturally relevant in a while, especially with kids. I rarely see any kind of merchandise for it beyond like holiday stuff at CVS. As of recently, I think the most relevant place I've seen Snoopy was with the young adult accessorizing market when I was in Japan. So where did this game come from? How is this budgeted and released with any kind of confidence? It's weird. It uses a lot of assets from the Peanuts movie, like the character portraits are literally just the movie renders, but the voices are basically all new, even compared to the currently airing cartoon. By comparison, that platformer, Grand Adventure, was clearly a tie-in for the movie, but this one feels pretty disconnected from any other Peanuts media out right now. It's just a standalone Peanuts video game. Very odd. I just don't know if there's a market for a game based on this IP. It's not like SpongeBob, where its games have a legacy and specific fans in some capacity. Peanuts is just such a strange pick. I guess it was a cheap IP to try to make some money with. It's so weird how this stuff comes to be. But despite all that, I think conceptually it's pretty cool. As much as I dismiss so many other Peanuts games in the past, I love to see this IP get utilized and cherished like this, especially in decently unique mediums. If you don't know or didn't watch my first Peanuts video, this series means the world to me, especially the comic strips. Every ounce of my being, my personality to my love for art can be traced back to Peanuts. And I take current day adaptations of these characters pretty seriously. It's mostly been handled with a lot of care and attention since Schultz died, which granted was like 25 years ago now. But there hasn't been too many things I feel are way off from the established personality this series had. The movie was something I really expected the worst from, but it was pretty well done and felt kinda on brand. This game though, I can't be so nice to. So if it hasn't been obvious from this like 15 minutes of footage, it looks weird. It's been praised to death online, but modern versions of Peanuts media spend a lot of time and effort replicating the style of those comic strips as accurately as possible into their medium. Even that dumb Grand Adventure game does a pretty good job adapting the movie's decently accurate style to a video game. But Mystery Club kinda doesn't give a fuck about any of that. I always thought the Peanuts characters translate miserably into 3D. Even toys and mascot costumes of Snoopy look terrible to me. He is a two-dimensional character, aggressively two-dimensional. They all are. They just don't look right like this, especially Snoopy. Front-facing Snoopy just is so gross. It shouldn't be a thing. I can't stand it. Speaking of gross, all the goddamn character models. I guess facial expressions were not a priority for these devs because these fucking kids just stare and smile at you all game. They don't even move their mouths when they talk. It looks unhinged. And there's no way it could have taken more than an extra day of development time to draw a mouth-open Viseme or something. I just hate how doll-like they all look. Lifeless is an understatement. It's so bad. Distractingly bad. Like, the UI and such is fine, and the environments and lighting is oddly amazing sometimes, kind of awkwardly good. But man, if this game went for a more 2D style for the characters like Paper Mario, it would have been a letter grade higher, I swear. It also doesn't sound very good either. The music is fine. It sounds sorta Peanuts, Vince Guaraldi-y, but they all just sound slightly off. It feels like I'm getting Guaraldi edged. I honestly looked out for a composer name in the credits because most of my playthrough I assumed the music was AI or something. It sucks we've come to this point where I actually have to worry about that. Pretty dystopian. The new voice actor kids do a swell enough job. They represent the characters' personalities pretty well. Lucy sounded especially good, really captured her mannerisms well. I think the main issue comes from just how these characters are written in general. It doesn't feel like Peanuts at all to me. This may sound like a weird complaint, but the characters are just way too sugary sweet to one another. Everyone is immediately willing to help each other, always saying please and thank you. They're all such perfect, nice angels, which is great for a piece of kids media trying to teach kids those niceties. But Peanuts never was that, and fundamentally cannot be that if it wants to continue being Peanuts. At its core, Peanuts is about Charlie Brown, a character designed to fail. He needs a cast of characters that are cruel and selfish to bring out that humor. Obviously, they can have nice moments or be his friend sometimes, but something about them being this friendly to one another really throws me off. I don't know if those modern specials or that Apple Plus show has this kind of personality, but I remember that being one of the issues I had with the 2015 movie. I really loved how the movie was written as a whole, but it had a bit too strong of a happy ending. It just felt off for Peanuts. I think back to the first theatrical Peanuts film, A Boy Named Charlie Brown, and its baller-ass, melancholic, bittersweet ending, and how perfect that felt as a representation of what that comic strip was trying to convey. Charlie Brown will never kick that football. But that's okay. That's what makes the comic strip feel so human. That's what makes Charlie Brown feel so relatable. Or, just live in this perfect utopia where every person you know is willing to help you at a moment's notice and every problem can be solved by walking back and forth for like 45 minutes at a time. Characters like Lucy get to stay decently crabby and rude, but characters like Peppermint Patty just feel weird. Part of her character was just how selfishly self-absorbed she was. And in this game, she just feels so normal. Just a normal, nice kid. Makes me sick. Even Snoopy is oddly mischaracterized. He's so weirdly helpful, and he's always helping the neighborhood kids with whatever they need. Like, bro, Snoopy didn't even call Charlie Brown by his name. He was a dog. He only cared about being fed in his novel. I can see the corporate desire to make Snoopy that perfect Mickey Mouse-ass personality where he's the nicest, sweetest, awesomest role model ever. But please, please, please leave Peanuts out of this mindset. It's so unique as a piece of kids media. As a kid myself, it taught me so much about the cynical side of the world, which, unfortunately, will exist for every kid ever born. Not everything can be perfect, and Peanuts was always trying to teach me how to cope with that, find humor and even comfort in it. To start to suck that out of its identity really hurts, man. I really hope this game isn't an indication on how this series is being treated as a whole these days. I don't have Apple Plus or anything, so I haven't seen any special in the last, decade. It's not, horrible, but it's missing the mark on a lot of very important levels. And I know, Peanuts as a brand hasn't always been like this. I mean, back in the day, half of Snoopy's income came from greeting cards, for fuck's sake. Those aren't exactly cynical, but the strips are where these characters are meant to be represented. Schultz created these guys for that comic strip. So in my opinion, they should act as if they exist in that comic strip still. It should feel as if I'm playing a Peanuts comic strip. Not literally, obviously, but try to evoke the vibe that these characters are meant to exist in. This doesn't feel like it even considered that, which is ironic, considering the main collectible are actual Peanut strips, which is double ironic because they're only comic strips from the 90s, which is probably the least cynical era of Schultz's writing. Despite all this, the writing is just extremely forgettable too. Just run-of-the-mill kids game rounded-edged dialogue with nothing going for it. It can't even be normal kids game writing competent. Did I also mention this fetch questy mess is incredibly poorly optimized for every system it was made for, including PC? Icing on the cake, really. Yeah, this game fucking sucks, man. There was an effort made, but an effort I feel was horribly mismanaged. I'm sure it was a crunched mess of a production that had a shoestring budget. So is it even worth complaining about? Well, yeah, I needed something to say in this video, right? And I don't know, I feel it is worth complaining about. Pretty recently, there was a brand new SpongeBob game, a full 3D platformer made by competent devs that are genuinely trying to make something fresh and interesting that honors not only SpongeBob's legacy as a TV show, but even his video game legacy. It seems like it has a proper budget, it's been given proper freedom for the devs to express themselves. It's just a really solid quality product that represents its source material. Why should we not expect that for every IP? I know SpongeBob games probably have a bit more money to work with, but even so, there are so many artists and developers out there that would have handled Peanuts with so much more care and attention with probably half the budget. But the executive decision makers of these companies don't probably think that much about it. It doesn't matter how good this game actually is, it's for the idiot parents who don't care. It's something to occupy a few hours of a kid's time. Give them a cute, inoffensive experience that will go in one ear and out the other. And obviously, this isn't new, and this is just how licensed games are most of the time. But man, it feels bad when it's an IP you care about so much. Like I said in the first Peanuts video, Peanuts doesn't really make a good video game ever, so I don't think I really even expected this to be half as playable as it was. Peanuts is an old, cynical, 4-panel comic strip about a kid trying to navigate his miserable life. It isn't a video game. It doesn't need to be a video game, and that's fine. It can exist as its comic strip for eternity, and that's also fine, but probably not fine for investors in this brand. Quick, get out the game mill slop machine. We need more content for these kids. Well, that was a little depressing. Fitting for Charlie Brown, huh? I feel I needed to talk about this game in a way. Who else has this adjacent niche hyper interest in shitty licensed games and Peanuts? Oh, you do? Well, I don't care about you, so. Until next time, blockheads. Boring. Chapter 2. Fucking dun-dun. Dawn of the second. 2 months later? What happened?
I'm going to go see Lucy at her booth. Would you like to come along?
Supposing we can stop for a little snack on the way there. I get to go to fucking, his therapy session with him. What happened? Oh. I thought someone died. I didn't register that it was supposed to be Halloween.